Can anybody hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can anybody hear me at all? So you can for the love of God, can you hear me? Okay, good. I'm extremely sorry about that. I ran a test last night and everything seemed to work fine, and it just went right in the poop chute right from get-go on this one. So I do apologize. I'm on my phone. So I will try to, I think I can see everything you guys are saying to me. I do apologize. I hope everybody had fun waiting for me to not seem like a complete and total idiot. Sorry, I'm turning off a couple things here, guys. Okay. So my first live stream is off to a great success. Hey. I wanted to do some quick updates and stuff and tell you about my projects, but is there anything you guys would like to know off the bat? If there's something I can help explain to you, if something's confusing or if what I'm doing doesn't make sense or anything like that. And also that gives me a chance to buy myself a couple seconds here to try to figure out what I'm doing. Yeah, yes, I work for the cell company. Can you, yeah, Oh, and hello everybody. I'm amazed and thankful that so many of you are here, and I do apologize that this went so poorly at the start. Hopefully you don't hear me talking to myself in a second when I turn some stuff on here. I'm gonna stop moving you in just a second. Okay. Okay. Whew. Yeah. So, is there anything you guys would like to know before I start going into my little spiel of stuff here? I'm glad I made you laugh your butt off, ASO. I'm not sure what, but I do think I'm funny most of the time. I hope that helps. Junkyard, the most challenging part of the Chandler so far is every time I take something off the car, I find something else I can't not fix. Everything I'm running into is structural or safety related, and I have to fix it. So everything just keeps taking longer and longer and longer. The floors, I just got the floor support tubes in, which you'll see in a video tomorrow. I couldn't finish the whole video for tomorrow's release. So there's going to be an update for kind of the whole channel. And my friend came over and welded the tubes in. I've got tubes going from the Cherokee inner frame rails to the Rambler rockers. So there's 3 by 1 inch tubes in a couple of spots. And that took almost 2 weeks to get that done, which is ridiculous. So I've lost 2 weeks on the build, unfortunately. Hi, Buck. Hi, SO. Hi, Vino. Hi, everybody that I saw before. Hi, Colleen. But hi, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm so far behind to try to catch up. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to read. No, there's enough Mopars and Mustangs at the No Name Nationals. I think we need a little tiny bit of something else, at least like a Camaro, maybe, possibly a truck. Maybe an AMC mixed with a Cherokee that will hopefully make it down the track. Well, it has to make a 10-hour drive there. We'll get to that. Excuse me, 1 second. I do apologize. It kind of threw me off a bit, but that's like most of our live streams that we do with the other guys. It starts off good and then right off the tracks. So, there'll be an update video on kind of the whole channel tomorrow. I do have most of the floor set up. I've got the floor panels made, which I showed in the last video. The tubes are in, so those are the biggest pieces. When I get the side panels of the floor pieces into the Chandler tomorrow, and I start getting that in together, I can actually start progressing. Once I get that stuff in, I can move forward, do the firewall, do the front subframe because nothing's connected right now, and get that together. Then I can have my friends come in and help me with all the other stuff. And I can start working my way backwards because I also have to take the entire rear suspension out and remake the wheel tubs, rear floor, trunk pan, the rear frame, and then there's the chunk about this long where the Rambler body stops and the Cherokee stops, that I have to make some kind of frame connection there as well. The thing is Swiss cheese right now. Other vehicles, I have a 63 Rambler that I do have one video out, just cleaning it up. I got it up north of me, about a half an hour drive. It had been sitting for 30 years. That is going to get airbagged, at least that's the plan. Slam it on the ground. I've got a 4.2 liter carbureted straight six from a Jeep, from an 80s Jeep. I'm going to put in it. And I have a 5-speed that I'm going to put behind it that I got out of the Comanche. I parted out. I did 3 videos on it about a year ago now. So that's going to be a fun project. There's going to be a lot of stuff for my regular daily driver Cherokee. There's a lot of little things that have to be done to it. It's got 200,000 miles on it, and it just keeps chugging along. So there'll be stuff. That's actually the most popular vehicle on my channel. That has combined about almost 30,000 views between the different videos it's been on. So it's here to stay. And as long as it keeps running, I'm not going to get rid of it. I was going to drive my Comanche. I have a 90 Comanche Eliminator 4x4 5-speed. And unfortunately, it has a Renix motor, which is a weird combination of Renault and Chrysler and Jeep kind of mushed together for electronic ignition in the early days. So it was kind of a mess. The brakes just randomly went out last week, so I have to figure out what's going on. I threw fluid in the master because the front pot in the master cylinder was empty. And can't find any fluid on the ground, and now there's no fluid leaking. So I've got to figure out if the master's leaking into the booster or what the heck's going on. I use that for summer transportation to pick up parts and haul stuff to the junkyard. And also there will be a lot of TJ, which surprisingly TJ Wranglers in general wants to be super popular on YouTube. But I have it. It's my favorite car. I've got new fenders, tailgate, and a bunch of other components I need to put on it through the summer, including rear backing plates. It's rear disc, because actually the ears on the parking brake actually snapped off on the driver's side. So it took me almost 6 months to find new backing plates because the company that makes them doesn't make them anymore. So I had to scour junkyards. And finally found them. They actually are common on Liberties. So I'm going to be using Liberty parts because that's the most common thing you'll find in a junkyard. But right now, which you'll see in a little bit, I'm actually using the TJ to rip trees out of the ground in my backyard because I've got some dying trees. So I'm currently logging with my car because I can't dig them out and drag them out myself. So I throw a tow strap on them, put it in reverse, forward low, and back she goes. So now that I've babbled for 5 minutes, what would you guys like to know? Is there anything you're interested in me telling you about? The shop series I'm doing, the interview stuff, project cars, anything specific? It is a lost art. It is very strange to hook a tow strap to a tree. Now, they're arborvitaes, so they're not huge, but they're not tiny, and literally just drive backwards and tear them out of the ground. It's fun. I'm glad it's working. I have these nice, craters about that size, about that deep in my backyard now. Oh, are you still upset that you lost to a bicycle with your My Little Pony mobile, new guys? Okay, so mofo drivers. Yeah, let me know what you guys would like to know. I'm sorry, I'm just a little off track from the whole calamity of the start. I worked for a company called McLaren Engines back around 2000. That was my first real job after doing oil changes at Dorian Ford, which is a local Ford dealer. And that was the first car I really worked on. It's the FR 500. It was a prototype special development car for Ford Racing. We ended up making 3 of them. That is actually just a mock-up for the photos. That car is actually just sitting on 4 scissor jacks with plastic wheels. They just used it to mock everything up because they didn't do the heavy design work in computers like they do now, where you can, basically create a fake car online. Their cars were real neat. It took a 4.6 liter dual overhead cam SVT motor. Liquid bored them to 5 liter. The car made 385 to naturally aspirated. was a ton of fun. It was a great project to work on, great thing to learn from. Because basically I went from doing oil changes and real small stuff in college to working on cars and magazines. It was a ton of fun. Hey, Jackson, Center Blocks, thanks for dropping by. Yep. Yeah, it was. I've actually still got one of the engine plates. When Ford did the SVO motors, they actually made them up in a hand assembly up in Romeo, which is about 35 minutes north of me. And they would put a hand-stamped placard on the engines with the guys who built the engine. I actually have that on one of my toolboxes from one of the main engines for the real show car, not the fake one that's in the poster. Well, yeah, and I'm also going to have an immense amount of Doberman-related content because they're much more popular on my channel than I am. So, and Max is currently wearing a cone, and this is the first live stream where they're not sitting on me the whole time. So it's strange. I don't have dogs on me at all times. Well, hopefully this doesn't make you sick. He's currently in a cone because he hurt himself, which is kind of what he does now. So, and cones are fun on large dogs. They're extremely fun because his face is actually sticks about that far to the cone, so the cones almost don't stop him. Yeah, I'll dig that out and throw it up on my community tab, the nameplate. I've got a bunch of photos that I was able to take of that vehicle once the initial release was out. I was able to take I was able to take still photos with an old, regular camera on film of that car, of assembling the 2 extra cars. And I'm trying to find a way to digitize that because I'd like to make a video on it. It's all going to be still photos, but I think it'll be kind of fun because it's something you never see. And I don't think I would be able to do that again in any type of design or development work. I didn't realize how rare it was that I was able to do it, but I've got quite a lot of photos. Got some photos of, we also bought a Viper. We bought a Viper hardtop and a C5 Corvette at the time, put roll bars in them and used them for testing along with that Mustang because Ford didn't want to buy them. So when I was working at McLaren, they paid McLaren to buy them. So there wasn't a paper trail that Ford bought these cars. Also did some roll bars. I did about half a dozen or so full roll cage setups for Bosch for brake testing. So everything from Honda, right when they were starting to make the little boxy front-wheel drive SUVs and the Acura ones, to F-150s and all kinds of other random stuff. It was a lot of fun. It was one of the better jobs I had. I didn't make a lot of money, but I had a lot of fun. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to track down, and I definitely want to make sure I'm responding to everything. No, I don't have a 4-door Dart. I'm pretty sure that's not actually the question, but I'm trying to track everything down here, guys. Oh, good to see you, Twisted Mopar. Thank you, everybody. Again, thanks everyone for stopping by, especially with all the little hiccups at the beginning. I will make sure I get this figured out correctly for the next one. And again, thank you all so much for showing up. Oh, and we need to find new words to involve the name Buck because it's bucking good time, bucking fun, buck around the clock, and bucking the buckettes. We need more bucking things. There's got to be more stuff. It can't just always be buck this, buck that. Got to Buckology, Buckaroos, which I think is what he calls his channel subscribers. I'm not sure. My stream is now international because Slimo's here. Everybody say hi to Slimo. Do me a big favor. I always try to do this when I'm on anybody else's live stream. If I see somebody's channel that I don't know, I try to copy the link or the name for their channel, go to their channel, at least watch a video or two, leave a comment, subscribe, let them know you know, while you're there, it just shows support for everybody in the community, because we've got a great community, especially with the No Name National people. I'm extremely happy that I was able to find my way into that, and I have to thank the Junkyard Necromancer, who hooked me up with new guys, and we all started forming this nice bond. And I got real serious about the No Name Nationals, because it was up when I started my channel last year, but I was nowhere near ready for it. And I'm really glad that I'm going to be able to do that this year. And I'm really glad I have a really random car to do that with this year. My garage is back there. That's, if I point, that's because my garage is back there. Oh, the monster has risen. Oh, and I think we're going to get a special guest star here. Come here, Fee. Come here, Fee. Yep, this is Fiona. So, okay, everything's right with the world. I now have a dog on a live stream again. This is Fiona and Max are my Dobermans. They're both rescues. They're both Reds. They're both actually going to be 11 this year. They're about 6 months apart in age. Max is huge. He's almost 4 feet tall. He's almost Dane-sized, and Fiona's about normal size for a Doberman. But yeah, I've had them for a long time. I rescued them when they were both about 2. And they are Velcro dogs. They're always, if I'm somewhere, they're right there, like this. This is normal. Pickle says hi, Fiona. Yeah, he says hi. He's right there. Well, he's actually over there, but he's technically right there. So you can say hi to him. Oh, and Jim, thanks for showing up. You might have missed a whole calamity of stupid when I first tried to start this whole thing. So, with my TJ, just update some project stuff as I'm going back through. I was able to get new fenders and a tailgate, because it's the only things that have any rust on it, which is great for a Michigan car because they normally rot pretty good. There's very little rust, if any, on this vehicle. I was able to get them painted at Mako about 1.5 years ago. I planned on doing the work on the channel last year because I was just starting out. I needed things, and then I found the Comanche, and I found cars and the 2 Cherokees, the Rambler, the Chambler, so it got pushed to the back seat. So I've had those parts sitting in my spare bedroom just on the bed for 1 year now, and they need to go on this summer because I love that thing. It's my collector car, for lack of a better description. So I plan to do that through the summer. Once I get a little farther along with the Chambler, I'm going to be able to start doing more stuff. So there'll be probably a Chambler build a week and something on one of the other projects, because I technically have 5 project cars right now. My daily driver is somewhat of a project. Hi, Fee. I'll start figuring out what's going on with the Comanche brakes likely this weekend. I've got a new axle for it because it has the CAD axle. Jeep in their Infinite Wisdom made a axle that the long side tube, there's a coupler made out of aluminum, and you press the 2 pieces together and you disconnect it, and it works like crap. So I have a new axle. I also have some suspension lift components that, if it doesn't end up on the Chambler, will go on the Comanche, because that was my original plan. I also have a spare engine for it that I got when I bought it, because it came with basically half a Comanche worth of parts, and the engine that's in it right now is tired, to say the least. It's not running super smoothly. Oh, Slimmo's coming up with some bucking stuff. No, I understand that. Jack Sanderson Lex says he doesn't work right where he lives, and after the transplants, I work in the garage and I work on the computer. I mean, that's unfortunately as much as I can do with everything that's happened. But I'm grateful to have it, and I'm very glad for everything that's been working out so far. And stuff like with the Steinjager deal, I'm probably going to say it differently. It's Steinjager. It's spelled Steinjager. And they're also involved with a company called Ace Engineering. They're sister companies. They make a lot of their stuff in Illinois, and they make suspension and hard parts for think everything except Mopar, unfortunately, considering that like every other person I know owns a Mopar in the group. They even make stuff for Pontiacs and everything else, but they make a lot of the suspension parts. They also make builder parts. They make stuff for UTVs. So I'm really thankful that that happened, because it gives me a chance to get some of the parts that I would have bought from them anyway at a discount. And I did put the affiliate links in the description of the correct live stream that I couldn't actually get onto. If you guys find anything that you like from the companies, they also sell maintenance parts and a whole bunch of other stuff, not just for Jeeps. And you use that link, I get a small commission for it. I don't have access to any type of discount with that coding yet. That'll probably depend on how this relationship goes at first. This is all new to me, but I'm looking forward to it. Yes. Yeah. My first attempt at a live stream makes your first attempt, Tom, look like you won the Academy Award. This was, other than the fact I've only had to leave once because I only actually got here once, and then the audio didn't work. After that, no. But I don't have an electrical box in the background. It's in my laundry room, and I'm not going to stand in my laundry room to do a live stream. So. No special guest star in this one. Oh, hey, it looks like the buck thing's taken off because now it's Huck Does It. Oh, that makes me think of it. I started another sort of challenge. New Guys Dan had done a video on his creative use of jacks, and I thought that was a great idea because the Chambler is supported right now by 12 screw bottle jacks that I found at the junkyard, and one transmission scissor jack in the back end, because I don't have a frame table, and basically the Cherokee chassis and the Rambler body are not connected. Well, they're connected now, but up until last night they were just, floating in the breeze. I was going to buy little hydraulic bottle jacks for it, and they were at a minimum about $20 a piece, as cheap as I could find it. And so I scoured two of the largest junkyards by me for about 3 months, and I was able to find 12 of them, and they were about $6 a piece. So that was the only way I could really do what I'm doing, because I needed to have some way to securely support it. And it's been on those jacks for 3 months now, and I'm still here, and I have all my fingers, so it's working out so far. Oh, Honest Peyton's here. Hello, Honest. It's Peyton is the star, and Chad is the the grunt that does all the work. I think that's how that. I'm not sure. They can answer that for me though. I'm petting the dog. I'm not tapping my stomach. It's force of habit. They're always on me, so I'm always petting them. Oh yeah, conduit for life. Oh god. So I'm extremely glad everybody's having a good time in the chat. Is Chad on here today? I'm in labor. Yes. Chad is strictly the muscle, and she does all the stuff that makes Peyton look as awesome as she is. But I'm pretty sure she's actually teaching him how to work on cars, which is awfully nice of her to do for her dad. He's getting up there in age. You gotta teach him at some point. Well, Jack saying the center blocks, feel free to make a quick video on it and just tag it with rate my jack stands and get it going. The rate my challenge, or I'm sorry, the rate my chop challenge did extremely well. It was up to almost 70 videos the last time I checked. I actually should check again and see, but they're all in my thank you video. The description has the name of every channel, the link to the channel, and the link to their video. So I wanted to do that to thank everybody for doing it, because I was extremely happy with how many people got involved, but also to show everybody new channels they might not know about. And it went far and wide, and we had everything from a weed eater to, a steak truck, and everything in between. The only thing we didn't have was we didn't have a top fuel dragster, and actually I think that's about it. Oh, and a chainsaw. Those are the only two things we didn't have. We had a agricultural equipment, cars, motorcycles, four-wheelers, you name it, there was on it. Oh, and my mom is likely watching, so hi, Mom, because she watches all of our live streams. She won't be on here, but yeah, Honest Peyton Snowblower was epic. I think you opened the doors for everybody's small engine stuff, because then we had Shopcat do, I think, every piece of random small farm equipment he had, and I believe it was ASO who did the I'm pardon me if I'm remembering this incorrectly, did the sump pump or the water pump, and it just got crazier from there. She's I'm saying hi. She's watching it, but she's actually going to probably be watching it on TV, so she won't see the chat. Thank you, T.I. Mopar. Good Lord. T.I. Mopar. I appreciate it. I had a few more things that I had planned to try to do, and they kind of went right out the window when that first 10, 15 minutes went right in the toilet. So, yeah, is there anything you guys would like to know? Oh, and I'm assuming I hope Pickle's in here. I have not. I'm trying. The chat is on my computer because I can actually watch that. I just can't see. It's more the arrow thing. Dan can explain how I don't get the arrows. So if you're in here, Pickle, is there anything you want to know? Is there a dying question that the Pickle needs answered, or anybody? Slimo, the flooring is not level, and that's partly why I got the bottle jacks. What I did was I took 3 6-foot levels, put them on the ground with a digital angle finder, and got them zero or as close to zero as I could, and 3 in the front, the middle, and towards the rear. And then I used that top of the level that I knew was at a specific as level as I could get it, measured down from the frame on the Cherokee to the level, and I was able to get everything level, at least back from, I got everything level side to side. Once that all kind of got smoothed out, and I was able to cut all the house flashing that he joined the bodies together with, which there's all this stuff's in video. So if there's anything you haven't seen yet on the Chandler, I've got everything documented so far. Once I got all that cut apart and got these weird tubes, he took these giant square tubes and bolted them into the seat belt lower bolts on the B pillars. And I didn't know that till I cut them off, because I couldn't tell how he put them on there because it was so strange. But basically the Cherokee was flat and the Rambler body was like this. So my friend Lauren was able to come over, and we were able to get it within 3/8 of an inch to quarter, maybe even as low as an eighth in certain spots, squared back to the body, which is great. When I put the tubing in to connect the Cherokee chassis to the Rambler body, there was maybe a 16th of an inch out side to side, and the height on the rails to where I put all the tubes to connect everything was again within an eighth of an inch, which no, actually was less. It was only the 16th, which is awesome considering I'm doing this on the concrete floor in my garage with bottle jacks and 2 things that should never have been joined together. Nope. Hi, Colleen. My foot is good. It is almost healed. My right foot, in my right foot, there are no bones connecting my pinky or my 4th toe. They're literally, the bones stop here, so there's no knuckles. I had a liver and kidney transplant. It makes me prone to what they call opportunistic infections, and I got one in my foot that wouldn't go away, and there were 3 surgeries on my foot. The third one was actually to take a chunk of bone about an inch in length out of this section of my toe. And that was about 3 years ago now. And the last surgery, which was in March, was they basically took the knuckle out of this toe. There'd been a screw in it before, but it didn't help. So basically, nothing's connecting these on my foot, and these are still normal. Oh yeah, thank you, TM Oper. If you guys hit the like button, I would greatly appreciate it. Definitely helps me. I'm at 3,800 watch hours. I'm just over 1 year on YouTube, and as far as I know, that's awesome watch hours. I am having trouble getting subscribers. So if there's anything you guys can suggest or would like to see me do, definitely let me know, because I don't want to just play the crap out. I want to actually make stuff that people want to watch. But I'm so close to the watch hours that I need for monetization. I need the subscribers to start bumping up, because my watch hours are going to start to fall off in the middle of June, and I've worked so hard to get them. I don't want to lose them. So anything, suggestions, tricks you guys have pulled or used, suggestions, or new video series, or whatever. I'm open to whatever. My dog just scared himself with the camera that's behind the computer. Come on, Max. Max, get up here. Come on. Come on, bud. Oh, thanks, Chad, for coming. Honest Payton, definitely go check out their excuse me. Definitely go check out their channel. Great channel. They have a lot of neat cars. A lot cooler than mine. They've got at least as many cars as I do, but theirs are all cool. Max down. Yeah, yes, cone. Well, hey, Neverboard S10. I don't know if I saw you come in, but I greatly appreciate you being here. I got like 71 charts. I don't know what I did. I started off, I never started doing shorts as far as I knew. When I started doing YouTube last April, I couldn't. The rules changed so much that everything kind of got stranger as everything, went along. And I wanted to make longer form content. So most of my first couple videos were at least 5 minutes, and then started getting to 10 minutes. And on average, we're right around the 20 to 30 minute mark. And I like doing that. I want to tell a story. I'm interested in trying to impart as much information as I can, and show what you can do, especially with, I've only got a one-car garage, and I thankfully have a lot of knowledge of what I did in a lot of different fields, but I also have my limits, and I'm hoping that by me showing people stuff, they say, hey, why don't you try this, or why don't we do this, or that was great, and it's given me a chance to meet some other people, learn some other stuff, like new guys. I don't know jack squat about carburetors, so it's nice to have somebody with his knowledge level there, like a phone call away, which is awesome. But I'd always wanted to do the longer form stuff, and I always had a lot more watch hours than I ever had subscribers. When I started really focusing on the No Name National stuff, that's when my subscribers went from about, I want to say 250-ish, and it was maybe 2 months and I hit 500. So it definitely helped. So if anybody's interested, definitely go sign up for the No Name Nationals, because once you're signed up, the group really gets involved with trying to help you. John Wilburn's awesome at that. Buck does a great show to try to help people that are on the list get bumped up. Bear Rose is very helpful as well. And ASO does a lot of stuff on his channel to try to push up stuff. And he's almost always in lives, promoting everybody else's channel, sharing links, which is awesome of him to do. Or Huckleberry's Garage. He's got some stuff going on there. I missed most of his live streaming that night, where he said some of his things on his channel were going to change. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on with him. Yeah, ASO. I don't know what I did that worked out so well for that. I'm very happy with it, and I that's why I want to keep doing the long form stuff. I started doing the 2 Chandler build videos a week, because the longer video takes more time for me to edit. I'm still fairly slow at editing. I'm still real picky. I'm probably overly picky at it. But I try not to. You're never going to hear me breathe in a video I make. I edit that out. It's just probably stupid, but it drives me nuts, so I do it, and you probably wouldn't notice it if I didn't say it. Yeah, and also Cherokees. People love Jeep Cherokees. My Green Daily Driver, the the biggest video on that I think is 8,000 views now. I was getting ready to sell. That was the video, was getting it all cleaned up to sell. It didn't sell, not for what I wanted. And now it's the most popular thing on my channel, other than the Dobermans. Well, Mofo Driver, you're headed in the right direction. I'm very sorry to everybody. I am so busy with trying to do all this stuff. I am not able to watch anywhere near as much of everybody else's content as I'd love to. I've been watching. It took me 2 weeks to watch PJ's. I'm gonna screw up his. He had a Jeep on his video. I'm very sorry if I'm screwing up his name. I think it's PJ's Rust and Buster Garage. I'm not sure if I've got that right. But it was an awesome video. It took me 2 weeks to finish it, and it was like a 10-minute video. I've been watching Buff's video on his Brian Vantana for 4 days now. I just got through Rescued and Restored Garage's channel update. He's got a great channel. He's got some really neat stuff. He's a great supporter of the channel and an awesome guy. And he's got a Funkmaster Flex Expedition. You don't get cooler than that. So I'm trying to be real quick here, guys. I do apologize. This is the smoothest live stream you've probably been to. Yeah, and Never Bored S10. I've been going back and doing a couple videos of my older videos. I'm not changing the videos, but if the thumbnail looks like crap, I'm updating it. Hi, Fiona. I'm adding in hashtags. I'm adding in keywords. I'm putting in better descriptions. I'm trying, and that has actually been helping. I've noticed I've been tracking it, and a couple of videos aren't doing anything, and a couple of them are 20, 30 extra views in the last week or so just from doing that, which is awesome. So I think it's definitely worth the effort, and got a lot of suggestions actually from Bear Rose. Try to put as many descriptors in as seemingly possible with what's going on, and the tags work. I didn't even know about the tags when I started doing the videos, so I've learned so much in the last couple of months from everybody, no name especially. Sorry guys, I want to be as responsive as I can. Yeah, editing is kind of a pain. It used to take me an hour to edit a minute of video when I started. And that was really bad, considering my first real videos were easily in the 15-20 minute range. My first really decent videos. And also I film almost everything. Because I never know what's going to happen. I try not to cut the funny stuff out. I've gotten a lot better at it. I've been using OpenShot, which is, I'm at the limits, and I think we've talked about this in a couple of our streams together. I'm going to start using DaVinci Resolve. I'm just trying to find a place where I can start picking into that, and I want a separate video series, or like when I start with the Comanche work, I want to start doing DaVinci Resolve on a separate video, because I need to continue to push the content out, at least to the level I'm doing it now, and I can do that with OpenShot, and I don't have to think about it. So I'm going to start breaking in, like, probably the pulling trees videos and the Comanche stuff. The TJ's out there, the Comanche's out here. On the other program in C, because Junkyard and a couple other people have recommended it, and Junkyard knows his stuff. So he's definitely a good resource for that. I'm very lucky that the core group of people that I do the live streams with and hang out with the most are extremely knowledgeable and fun to hang out with. I'm looking forward to meeting half of them at Sykeston. And the other two that are in Montana at some point, they're so far away. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to catch up here, guys. Yeah, the shorts have been great for me for subscribers. In a weird way, though, because I'll get a bunch and then half of them will drop off. And sorry about that. Nobody seems to care too much about car content, at least my stuff. They like the dogs. The dogs are extremely popular. And then random tool stuff seems to do well. But if I do a longer form video on tools, that doesn't do anything. So the shorts thing is just this, I'm just trying to put out stuff I think is funny or entertaining, and they either do great, like 1,000 views, or they do nothing. There seems to be no in between, or very little in between. Yeah, OpenShot, Jackson and Cinderbox. OpenShot absolutely sucks for audio. The couple of videos I did last week of the meetup in Troy, Michigan here, the card features did really well, but the audio would spike randomly with this horrible wind noise that wasn't evident when I was doing the video. I used Audacity to clean up a lot of the wind noise, but I couldn't get rid of all of it. But it did make a huge difference, because that's the one thing with OpenShot. For being a free editor, it works really well. But I'm way past its limits. What I want to do, it just can't do for me anymore. Not to increase my creativity and get better with audio and some balancing and mixing and stuff. But yeah, that's the one. That's the one absolute fault with that is audio is crap. There's no, you really honestly can't do anything but separate the audio. That was the only nice thing. I could take the video and audio clip and separate the audio, put it in Audacity, and start to clean it up. Oh, thanks for the information, Colleen, about Damien being able to help me with that. I think Junkyard can as well, which is awesome. And thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. See you later. Yeah, Jackson, the Center Blocks. Audacity is actually a free app. I think you can use it on your phone, but I have it on my computer. And it was the one everybody seemed to think decently of it, and it was no fee. You can record directly into it, like if you're doing heavy voiceover. Apparently, it worked quite well for that stuff. It is somewhat, I guess, harder to import and export video, or I'm sorry, you can only import and export audio. But it's apparently a little harder to do that. You really need to watch a video on how to do it. But once you know it, it's actually a pretty straightforward program. It's easy enough to use. Hey, Breezy. I might have missed Breezy's comment. Watching you do things with what you have makes me think a lot of machines are not needed. I'm not exactly sure. I'm assuming you're responding to something else. So if I'm missing the boat, let me know. Yeah, I have a shotgun mic, and I just got some lapel mics, but they're only for my other computer. I'm going to start doing interviews and some other stuff very soon for the channel, and I've got it for my nicer Sony ZV-1F. But I don't want to use that in the garage, and I didn't take it with me to the car meet because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to film anybody or not anyway. It's a nice camera, but it's more complicated, and I don't want to go up to random people and say, hey, put this mic on. So I have to pick my battles and find better strategies and things. I might have to have them stand next to something with a mic. I'll figure it out. But it's a learning process. I'd never done it before. And then it's, okay, well, you made a boo-boo. You don't want to get rid of the footage. As much because I appreciate these people giving me their time and showing me their cars, and I don't want to just throw that away. So it's trying to find the best way to clean it up and make it usable, which was a big thing. I'm very happy I did find what I did. I just wish it hadn't been that way. The new guys is using, I think it's Vive Audio for my stuff. I think it's $21 a year. Been using it so long, I don't think I changed. Yeah, the OpenShot isn't bad for audio in general, but and you edit off your phone, I believe, Dan. So I've never edited. I've not even tried. And I shoot so much video, wouldn't even want to think about how complicated it would be. Sorry, dogs. To try to edit in a video, because I've got hours of footage that I shrink into 30 minutes. I mean, it's days, and I try to film so much because I never know what's going to be interesting, and I also make goof ups and do things, and I want to leave that stuff in because I think that actually helps. It's showing people that you are a human being. But I do cut a lot of them out because you can only do so many goof ups in a video before people think there's something wrong with you. Yeah, Jack Sanderson said he had a friend that turned goofy whenever the camera's on. My friend Lauren, who's might be on the chat, um, tends to like to do things behind the camera to try to screw me up, which I do enough. Uh, there's almost no one take for audio stuff, or when I'm talking to the camera, I'm splicing it together. So and it's sometimes the brain works so much faster than the face does, so things don't always pan out right. Okay. I don't think I don't think there's anything wrong with people that want to be on. Jackson and Cinderblock's comment: there's something wrong with anyone who wants to be on YouTube. I don't think so, but I think it's, what do you want to be on it for? I want to be on it because I think it's fun. I wanted to meet new people. I was trying to find an avenue to hopefully make myself some sort of income, because my ability to probably ever work a normal job again is gone after the transplants and all the complications. And I think this is going to give me a chance to do it. And I've managed to meet a lot of good people and people I really call friends. And went to the PRI show last year. I'm going to go again this year, and that was awesome. That gave me a chance to talk to companies and allowed me to start my Michigan Make series with the shop tours. I've got about another 12 companies that I'm talking to, but everybody's, you got to work your way in. You got to keep talking to them, show them what's happening. Having the videos released helps immensely. But it's just keep chipping away at it, because the nicest thing why I started that series is Michigan. You can have almost anything you want made completely inside the state of Michigan, from foundries, design work, production. Taycom is about half an hour from me. Everything's about a half an hour from me. But they basically approve every wheeled or tracked vehicle for the military, and it all goes through a town half an hour away. And there's medical stuff here. There's a ton of car stuff. There's so many little amazing businesses, and I wanted to highlight it. I could do a video a week for the rest of my life and never cover every company. Yeah, envious creations circle. Yeah, and that's also why with the couple of shorts I did this last week, I've got everything from a Mad Max inspired Firebird that does gambler stuff, a Suzuki X90, which is basically a sidekick with T-tops that looks even stranger, but I think they're neat cars. A hybrid all-wheel drive BMW that's neat cars. It's full-size four-door sedan. It's got almost 380 horsepower between the hybrid and the gas motor, and it's getting 50 miles a gallon. And the other one was a supercharged factory Pontiac Vibe, which they're kind of a weird car, but it's a neat hybrid between, or not an electric hybrid, but a hybrid between Toyota and GM making a car, and they last a lot longer than a lot of the GM stuff because it's basically a Toyota powertrain. So the little motors like that, Toyota's fantastic at getting a long life out of them. And I love everything with wheels pretty much. There isn't much I don't like. I might not like your style, but as long as you put effort into putting it together, I'm going to respect you for that. I still will probably make fun of you for your choice of wheels or something. I'm fickle about wheels, but everybody's got their thing. Sorry guys, trying to catch up where everybody is. I'm sorry, Breezy. I'm pretty sure you're talking to somebody else, but I keep catching strange bits of your stuff. Okay. I want to try to answer some questions that I've missed. You guys are real active in the chat, which I greatly appreciate. So Breezy's saying, you don't have a brake. You use a square bar to make 90 in sheet metal. Yeah, I actually do have a sheet metal box brake, but it's about the size of a laptop. It's a very small one. It came from a family business that my parents had. I think it's from the 70s. So it'll only do about a 12-inch piece of material. I use those two. What I've always done, whether I was doing labor time or prototyping or anything, was trying to find solutions to problems. And it's taking a minute, using your noodle and thinking, okay, I need to bend this humongous piece of steel. If I just bend it with a hammer by hand, it's going to turn into a curly Q. So it's, what can I use to make it? Well, wood's not strong enough. So I bought that tubing to make the cross braces in the car, and it made perfect sense. It's put the, you know, piece of tubing, the sheet metal you're bending, another piece of tubing because you need structure on both sides, clamped into that, and then I clamped into a giant hunk of 4x4 to give it something where as I hit it, it would have an absorption factor so it wouldn't go nuts. And also the fact that I'm doing it on a shop chair don't do that. If you got any other options, I just don't have any space. But there's always ways to do stuff. You just have to take a moment, and that's actually one of the beautiful things about YouTube is if you're stuck, there's probably someone somewhere who's got a video doing something that might at least help spark your noodle to think, I could try this, or well, why don't I try that, or you know, thankfully I was lucky enough to have done stuff like that with the actual machines in a work environment. So that did give me the advantage of I know I need to do this. So how do I do that? What can I use in place of it? And granted, it took me 10 times longer than it would have with a machine. I just would have walked over, marked it up, put it in the machine, hit a button, it would have gone fold, and I would have been done. But you know, I'm over there beating my brains out. Yes, Rusted Junk Garage, awesome to have you here. If you've been here for a while and I missed you, I do apologize. Thank you for coming by. And it does look like I missed you. I do apologize, but thank you very much for coming by. And Dan is absolutely correct. New Guys Garage, don't do his things at home. Don't just watch him, observe him, but as a what not to do, unless it was carburetors, because he's very good with carburetors or getting shot with a dart by another channel. That go watch his B&R Racing video. That weird comment will make more sense. Both Dan and Tom are extremely funny, and they're both fun to watch. And Tom, just in case anybody who doesn't know, Tom's in the No Name Nationals as well. He's got the New Guys Guitar channel. He makes his own music. If you like some of the music on his channel, message them. I believe you have to email New Guys Garage, and as long as you mention Tom's channel and the information that you got the music from him, at least in the description, I try to mention in the description and in the video, you can use the music on your channel without copyright issues, and that's great. He's got some great tunes. I think he's got about 12 right now, and I know he's making more. It's great music. It supports his channel, and it's awesome he's doing that because that can become a problem as you do get monetized, which I'm finding out. If you use even the YouTube licensed music, apparently some of that, if you do make money, can go back to them. So it's a balancing act you need to learn it, and it's great music. Oops, sorry. It was awesome to have you drop by, Jack Sands and Center Blocks. Don't be a stranger. I do a live stream with the Junkyard Necromancer, Woody's Garage, if and when he shows up, New Guys Garage, and New Guys Guitar every other Monday. It's normally on the Junkyard Necromancer channel. That's a ton of fun. All five of us bouncing ideas off each other. The time goes by in a heartbeat. And we do normally have topics. But much like this stream, it just kind of goes in and out one ear. So, well, that's an interesting problem to have. Neverboard S10 says he's off grid, so he uses everything on a generator or on a solar system. I'm not sure how you could upgrade beyond that, but that would be an interesting challenge. That would definitely, if you haven't highlighted that in your videos, I haven't been able to watch a ton of your content yet. Definitely, I would highlight that stuff. You know, show people how you're doing those things. Show people what they can do. Sorry, dogs. Because I think I'd like to watch that stuff if you haven't. If you have, let me know, and I'll definitely take a look on your video on your channel. I apologize, but I think that'd be very interesting content. Okay. No problem, my friend. Tom is New Guys Guitar, and I do appreciate your music too. It's a big thank you. It's a big help on my end too. Oh, take it easy, mofo driver. I didn't realize that. I believe AHA is doing a live stream tonight. I thought they weren't doing one tonight. I hadn't noticed it, and I after last week's unfortunate news from both Dallas and Professor P, I wasn't sure what they were going to do. I do not want to cut into their time. And if I do this again next week, which I more than likely will, assuming I get my streaming issues fixed, I will start mine at 7 p.m. my time, which is Eastern. Because I don't want to cut into their time, because they normally start at 7. Or, I'm sorry, they normally start at 9. Well, and New Guys is going to have a carburetor basics video. New Guys is going to have a carburetor basics video out tomorrow. That'd be cool. I'm 2 videos behind on New Guys stuff. Yeah, my 4.2 liter engine for my 63 Rambler, which is just a Rambler, not the Chambler, is an 87 or 88 Jeep YJ, which would be a Wrangler, the square headlight one, carbureted engine. And I'm going to have to do something with that. I want to try to keep it carburetor, but it'll likely either be a 2-barrel Weber on a Clifford. Clifford's a company that makes 6-cylinder parts. Excuse me. They make 6-cylinder parts for Jeeps and other things, but they make manifolds and exhausts and intakes and things for it. And a common thing is a 2-barrel Weber. Another common conversion apparently is a older Motorcraft 2-barrel. So that will be when I dial up Dan the man at New Guys Garage and say, carburetor me, oh Swami, or sorry, oh Professor. I want to learn about them. Webers are the most common, but the other super common one is as the Motorcraft carburetor, because what is on the motor now is an electronically controlled carburetor. And even if I wanted to use it, the guy never came through with getting me the computer for it, so I'm not even going to bother trying. Okay, got a few vids. This is never bored S10. Got a few vids. $7,000 for the grind power. I can't afford. Yeah, no, I definitely understand that. I got very lucky with my garage. My garage is 16 by 22. It's not a tiny garage, but it's not even a 2-car small garage. I was able to do some horse trading and fix a friend's. Actually, the S10 Blazer that I fixed, I traded my fixing that labor for the labor to have the door put on the back of my garage, which was awesome because that saved me an immense amount of money. And I was able to get that in, and I had a furnace that was in the garage when I bought the house 8.5 years ago, and I had to take it down to pass code. And I had the furnace, I never got rid of it, and I was able to put it up in the garage, and it passed code, and it's all legal and everything now. But it gave me a chance to be out in the garage this winter, because I could not have done it. Even Michigan isn't as cold as Minnesota and some of the other places, some of our friends that are on here, but I couldn't have done it. And the door is great, though, having a front door and a back door in my garage. Right now, I get an awesome breeze. So, even on a hot day, it's going to make it great, because I'm going to have a great cross breeze. And it should help to get the grinder dust and all the junk and all the fumes that stay in the garage and that one-way airflow out. Slimo filmed some peacocks with Whitney Houston playing on the radio in the background, so I apologize. Well, you might get copyright strike for that. I don't know. Apparently, everybody else I know does, but New Guys can throw up anything he wants to, and it's just monetize. So he's got some kind of secret formula, or he's got dirt on one of the algorithm guys. I'm not even sure. Okay, it will be simple. You only need to ask 6%. Then once you go carb, you'll never go back. No, I will be going carb for a car or two. I will not be going carburetor beyond that. I don't want to have to get something where I have to adjust it every 5 minutes if I change elevations. Yeah, no, carburetors have their place, and I don't have any problems with them. Just something I never really dealt with, because most of my stuff, I went pretty much straight from dealership real basic limited stuff to right into prototyping, and you wouldn't have a carb anywhere near any of those cars. I was working on stuff in the early 2000s that was 4, 5, and 10 years ahead of anything that people would see, and some of it people have never seen. We were working on something when I was at McLaren. We had a development. This was a weird one. We had a Lincoln Navigator when they first came out, and we put a Ford V10 in it, and we had a special setup where it would deactivate 5 of the cylinders. So it would kill half the bank of the equipment. So you're basically running on a 5-cylinder. The more interesting part about it actually was we put a 5-speed manual transmission behind it for testing, and that was a crazy combination. It never really worked right. I don't know how far they actually got with it. I know the testing we did, it never really seemed to take off. Yeah, and you are 100% correct, Neverboard. Anything is better than sitting out in the elements. And with all my medical stuff, which I don't want to harp on, I want people to know, because I wouldn't be here without the person that unfortunately passed away, because I had a liver and kidney transplant. There was no, I was dirt nap bound or transplant, and I got lucky enough to get a transplant. I don't ever want to ignore that. I don't want to make it a focus, but I also want people to understand that I'm extremely limited, and I do a lot of things to craft what you see. And thankfully with YouTube, it gives me a chance to do something that it probably takes me 3-4 hours to do. That it would take most people half an hour at best. But it does give me a chance to edit a lot of it out. But I don't want to ignore the fact that I have limitations. And the simple fact is, there are ways to figure things out. There's almost always some way to ask questions or find help from somebody. I'm lucky that I've worked with a lot of great people, and they're all willing to help me, which is awesome. And I'm very lucky to have both my online friends and my everyday normal, a mile away from me friends. I'm very lucky, and I don't want to ignore that either. There's definitely ways to, you just got to try to network the best you can, look for resources, and just be open, because I'm very lucky in some things fall into my lap. I try real hard to find them or to stay focused on them and look for opportunities. But I will never knock a gift that I get that's just random good luck or fortune or whatever you might believe in. I'm in a lot of ways, I think I'm very blessed to be here, because I would have been dead in 2017 or in April if I hadn't had the transplants. I had the transplants in October of 2016, and without them, I wouldn't have made it past April the next year. So I'm very lucky. I'm coming up on 7 years this year for the transplants, and I'm extremely happy. And no, but to get back off my rambling, if I hadn't been able to put the furnace in, I couldn't have done it. My body just doesn't do well. Most people, and don't be scared of transplants. A lot of times you have to take steroids after a transplant. My body had a severe reaction to the steroids. My organs are fine. I had some rejection issues, which almost everybody does when you first have a transplant. But my body freaked out. After only 4 months on steroids, I woke up one morning and I couldn't move. I thought I had fractured my back and I was paralyzed. And it took about 3 months to figure out what was going on, because they were doing tests and it just didn't make any sense. And I finally got hooked up with a very good endocrinologist and started doing a lot of scans. I had 7 fractures in my spine. There were 4 in the bottom, it skipped 2, and there were 3 in the upper part of my back. And that was all steroid stuff. They've healed a lot since. I'm much more capable than I used to be. I'm still extremely limited, and I have a 15-pound weight limit for things I pick up. I have to be very careful of it. I can actually feel it in my back when I get close to that edge. Sorry for the dog. I developed osteoporosis, arthritis, large fiber and small fiber neuropathy, cataracts. I had both my eyes replaced. But it's all the steroid stuff. And that doesn't happen to everybody. I've got a friend that's had lung issues for 20 years. He's been on steroids. All he has is he's cranky and he eats a lot. That's all that happened to him. And for me, it was the steroids was just an instant bang. But it's still, no matter how bad my day is, it's still 30 times better than being dead. So. I'm not going to be putting on hot pants. Slimo said Jeeps make him think of Daisy Dukes. I like Kathleen Bach. I'm big fan of the Dukes of Hazzard. When I was a kid, I had a ton of the toys. A lot of the show, the weirdest thing is if you ever watch Dukes of Hazzard back, the only honest political figure or cop in the entire series was the sheriff from Chickasaw County, and he was black. He was the only honest official in the whole show. Just that one guy. It was a fun show. I had a lot of the toys, and yeah, I liked my last sheep was actually white, but no, you are not going to see me in hot pants. I'm sorry, Slimo. I'm assuming, Dan said, I'm sorry, new guy said leaving some of that stuff in. I'm assuming you mean about the transplants. I have been. I just didn't want to, I don't want it to be a pity party thing. I want people to watch it and then like, oh, look at what he's doing. And he's got this stuff. So I've been trying to bring it up more and more, but I didn't want it to be the first thing I mentioned when I started making the videos because I didn't want to, I don't want to be a one trick pony, even with something that I'm going to be dealing with the rest of my life. It's look at what I'm doing and I have these things. Look at what I'm doing and I know these things, both good and bad. Giant dogs, trying to highlight the good stuff and the bad stuff and trying to share as much as I can. I think as I go along more and the channel grows as I'm going, I plan on trying to involve aspects of the transplant stuff, trying to speak to the transplant people and see if they want to promote it. Trying to do whatever I can to spread the word because there's so few. The last time, I think when I had my transplant, there was about 300,000 or more people waiting for a transplant, and only about 30,000 people at that time of year would get them. So it is completely lottery. It is, your information has to match. The donor has to have the right blood type, the right cells, and everything else, depending on what the transplant is. And then it's also, like with the liver and stuff, it's called a MELD score. Your MELD score has to be bad enough that, or you have to be sick enough that you're dying enough that they'll give you the organs. So it's a weird mixture of everything. And I think I've mentioned on one of the other live streams, but I was not the first person in line for the organs I got. The person who was first choice was on vacation 3 hours away and couldn't make it back. So I was double lucky, and I hope they ended up finding a donor. I don't know, and they wouldn't tell me, and I don't expect them to. But I definitely hope they did. But I got extremely lucky. It took me 10 months to get healthy enough and that I wouldn't die on the operating table. And I was on the list for 4 days. And I got my organs. And that is extremely lucky. Most people are on it almost to the point where they die. It's very rare to find it that fast. It was 13 hours of surgery between the two organs. And it was extremely hard 2 years. It was very bad. I couldn't do a push-up 2 years ago. I can barely do one now, but I'm a heck of a lot more capable of not doing it. Okay, I do apologize, guys. I'm sorry. I'm used to having other people so I can read while they're talking so we can keep the banter going, and dogs don't banter. Neverboard says, I broke my back in 4 places 6 years ago and my left arm at the same time. Oh, man. Lost a lot of my strength in my left arm. Still deal with pain a lot of time, but my stuff is the same in some ways and indifferent, and I don't want to ever put myself in anybody's shoes, but for me, I can't do nothing. If I do nothing, I hurt horrible. I'm always in pain. Pain is never going to go away. I do a lot of things. I've changed my diet. I do yoga. I do a lot of PT. I do everything I can other than strength training because I can't lift weights. I've changed everything, and it's made a huge difference because everything I'm doing, all the stuff I'm doing is just Band-Aids. I'm pushing everything off as long as I can because if I don't, everything I have, the neuropathy, that breaks the arthritis, everything. These are all things that are going to probably at some point put me in a wheelchair. I'm going to do whatever I can to stay away from that as long as I can because if nothing else, you never know what's going to happen in 5 years medically. The amount of stuff that comes out that's new and improved all the time is amazing. And also, I don't want to sit on my butt. I can't do too much because it hurts too much. And I can't do nothing because it hurts too much. So I've got to try to find this weird balance where I do as much as I can. I'm only able to do things for about 15 to 20 minutes at best, and then I'm stopping for a while. And that's been the greatest thing about YouTube is I can stop. You know, if I'm doing something hard, I have to stop. And I'll go stretch, I'll do something. come back to it, keep doing it, and I can just edit right around it. And I do most of the time. It's very rare that I show the. I don't want to make it a crutch. I don't want it to be that bad, but I'm definitely going to start doing more things with showing people what happens and what it does take for me to do stuff, because I want it to be inspirational, because I think it should be. I think the internet in general should be something that uplifts people more than it puts them down. I think, especially like with the No Name National stuff, which I keep talking about, it's a great group of people. It's like 99% awesome people, and everybody seems to genuinely care about each other. And half of them have never seen each other in person, and that's awesome. It's what I want the internet to be. It's what I'm. It's why I'm on Facebook. When I was sick, I couldn't see anybody for almost a year, a solid 6 years. Or sorry, a solid 6 months in a mask. I had to have very little contact with anybody because I was super much worse than I am now. I could get sick at the drop of a hat. And it was the only way for me to stay connected with a lot of my friends because I couldn't see them. So I appreciate that stuff. I want to find those things. I want to try and enjoy as much as I can. Same to you, Never Bored. I'm stuck in a good place and in a bad place. No, I definitely would have died. And I do want to keep. I think one of the best things I found when I started doing physical therapy almost 4 years ago now, I wasn't in, quite. I had my days. It was bad, and one of the guys in there was in a wheelchair. He was in a car wreck. I'm not gonna tell much, but he was trying to learn how to walk again. So my best day or my worst day is still not there, and it's all about understanding where you are. We all have our days, and most of my days, like I say this to myself every morning. This morning was better than yesterday morning, and 99% of the time it's true. I have my bad days probably once a month where it's just, man, but I just keep pushing. But you got to try to find the best in stuff, and got to try to find the best, the positive. I know it might sound silly, but it makes a huge difference. Coming to terms with my own mortality, because if I had the transplant, I had to come to the fact that I would have died. It changes your outlook. It really does. It makes me value things differently. I still get cranky and angry and do silly stuff, but I look at the world a lot differently. I try to be as open-minded as I can be. I'm not trying to hide it, Dan. I just don't want it. I'm tired of seeing me have to stop. I don't want everybody else to get tired of seeing me have to stop. So it's easier to edit around things like that, because if I just left the camera running, it would just be like 20 minutes of stuff happening in a 9-hour period, and it just people be clicking away. Nobody wants to see that. If I have missed anybody's comments and there's something you'd like to know and I haven't answered it, please ask it again. I can't thank everybody enough for hanging out and for talking and for all the interaction and the questions so far. I really do appreciate it. I'm trying to think of what else. There was other stuff I'd planned on talking about. Oh, I know. I think I talked about this earlier, but the Steinier thing is pretty neat. They make a lot of stuff here. They make a lot of builder parts, like I mentioned, but they make a lot of little random parts for the Jeeps, and almost everything I have is Jeeps. So I'm looking forward to being able to do stuff. And actually, I'm going to a lot of Jeep events. I'm going to one tomorrow. I'm going to take some video of that and hopefully put it up. But it'd be nice to say, hey guys, have you heard of this company? And look what they offer, because they offer some really cool stuff. And the biggest thing, I don't know if they do it for the other products they make. I know they do for the Jeep line. They make everything they make that's a hard part, that's a tube or something like that. They make it in about 20 colors. Everything from like desert khaki to the standard colors to like hot pink and purples and everything. So if you like color matching your stuff, give them a check out. Slime on. Police dog got the wrong guy and crushed my left hand, so I settled with a pension, and then I can't. Oh. Well, it's both awesome and horrible all at the same time. I'm sorry that you had the issue with the dog in your hand. I'm glad you got settlement, and winning at a casino is never a bad thing, especially if it pays off your farm. So that's awesome, man. Just because you're Australian does not mean you're like Rain Man. You guys are cool, even though you got your weird tape roll trick thing. Actually, you'd be a good person to. I can't remember if I challenged you or not, but you would be right up the alley of that rate my jack stands thing, because I'm pretty sure you have some creative uses of things as jack stands or creative uses with jack stands. I believe auto salvage is taking off, and I fully understand that. When I'm out of here in about actually probably about 20 minutes or so, I'm gonna head over to the no name. I'm sorry, to the AHRA live stream with Dallas and Professor P. It is one of my favorite ones. Again, when I do this next week, assuming I get all these issues figured out, I will be doing this from 7 to 9 so that I don't interfere with them, which they go live, at least my time, from 9 to 11 or 9 to 10. I'm not sure. But they would be, I'll be done and they'll be starting. So hopefully it'll make it easier, because a lot of my audience is their audience, really. A lot of their audience is, vice versa, because everybody, you see the same 50, 60 people in a lot of these things. And I don't want to screw anybody else's time up. So. Oh, hey, Pickle. It actually works now, Pickle. You didn't miss that part. You were here for the bad part, and now you're here for the, hopefully, the good part. I've only done 2 shop tours so far. I'm working with about another 12 companies. I don't want to say anything because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm also talking to at least one. Well, actually, I'm talking to 3 museums, and hopefully that'll happen. There's a mobility company I'm talking to. I toured the first 2 companies are A&A Manufacturing, and they make hard parts like chassis parts, brakes, or I'm sorry, components and bits and pieces, but a lot of stamp and machine parts. The other company was called Sweet Manufacturing, and they've made, they make race car and performance steering components and equipment. And Randy Sweet, who started the company, unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago, but it was amazing seeing the company. If you've ever seen anything on Richard Petty's setup, his family started building shops behind their house. As they got bigger, they built another shop. Randy Sweet did the same thing. If you look at a Google map or the stuff I put in the video, his house is at the front, and then there's just all these little buildings that just kept getting bigger and bigger. As the company got bigger, he built more stuff. He set a lot of track records, did a lot of amazing stuff. Very much like Smokey Unick in terms of extremely creative, and was always trying to push what was considered normal. He did unfortunately pass away a few years ago. He left the company to 8 of his employees. These guys, a lot of them, like a long timer is 40 years or retired. The short time guys are on average 10 to 15. There's 40, 45 employees there. They're aging out, so they're getting new people. But these guys are extremely dedicated, and you saw it. And they all, it's like a giant family. I was extremely impressed. And A&A was very much the same way. They both started. A&A started in the mid '60s as a tool and die repair shop, and they expanded, and they kept building onto the building. They didn't build new buildings; they just kept expanding. The gentleman Jim Fairbanks bought the company. I want to say in the late '90s, early 2000s, and has owned it since then. He'd worked there for about 15 years before that, and it's his family. It was great to meet opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of one guy was stamping stuff. 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 tolerance was no problem for their stuff, because you're likely going to modify everything you get anyway, and the stuff they make is still top shelf. And then on the other end is the steering gear stuff, where some of the stuff is polished and plated to, less than 1,000 tolerance, and it's just amazing to see the different things. And that was part of why I wanted to do the stuff with the shop tours, was because there's so many different things just within the state, and so many avenues and so much stuff is made here, and I think it's awesome. Not so easy as at 6, and you always give me a time a hard time. Yeah, I'm gonna keep giving you a time a hard time. If then my next one is this bad, then yeah, you can ride me all you want. But it's, you guys are like herding cats. And besides, you're not the star that the electrical box is. the conduit. And we're friends. That's what friends do. If I didn't say anything to you, then I wouldn't like you. So, there's always that. No. I also have a cough drop in my mouth, Dan. So, here we go. Success. I didn't almost die on a live stream. I'm still here. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's probably about a month ago now. Dan was doing the first live stream. Was it on Tom's first live stream? I can't remember either way. But Dan decided to take a nice swig of water while trying to laugh. And water basically went in his lungs. And it was extremely entertaining. And it was even more entertaining when we knew he didn't die. Because, I was a little worried there for about half a second. But once we know he didn't die, it was awesome because it was hilarious. And I still want Tom to cut Dan's choking to the song Sweet Leaf by, excuse me, Sweet Leaf by Ozzy Osbourne. It was Black Sabbath or Ozzy Osbourne. I can't remember which anymore. I don't know if anybody can teach. Well, I'll meet Dan at No Name Nationals, and we'll have a special class on drinking water. He can teach me about carburetors. I'll teach him how to successfully drink water without trying to kill himself. Yeah, I would honestly prefer, and I'm pretty sure your daughter and probably your brother to some extent would prefer you didn't die, Dan. So please don't kill yourself, especially because mildly famous, headline, mildly famous YouTuber dies with some kind of water stunt. You don't want to go out like that. That's not how you want to be remembered. Okay. Again, I'm sorry. I know I've trailed off a bit. If there's anything you guys would like to know, if there's anything I haven't mentioned or haven't answered, please feel free to ask me. If you'd like to know about these fuzzy dipsticks. Actually, I had another dog, Emma. I had 3 Dobermans. Emma was a little smaller. She was mixed. They're all rescues. Emma literally came right out of a junkyard before I got her. I got her 10 months old, and she was pregnant, and I didn't know it. And so she had 8 healthy puppies on my couch. Needless to say, I don't have that couch anymore. And they were healthy. It was surprising because she was extremely emaciated when I got her, but she had 8 1-pound puppies, and she probably weighed 28 pounds when I got her. So I had the puppies for about 2 months. It was through a rescue. Everything I've done was rescue related. I did a lot of rescue work before I got sick. I ended up keeping her because she wasn't feral, but she wasn't the friendliest dog. She wouldn't hurt anybody. She'd just run away. So I ended up keeping her. And I've stayed in contact with 5 of the 8 puppies. A couple of them unfortunately passed away. That happens with dogs. And last year, before she turned 6, at about this time, I found out she was dying of liver failure, which is hard because that's what I was dying of until I had the transplants. And it came on real suddenly, and it was about a month where I had to take her and have her put down. It was right about now last year. And a couple of the videos that I made at first, there was stuff in there with her, and I had to cut it out. I don't know if I'm ever going to do anything with it. I've got a lot of footage of her with the puppies. I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's still kind of raw. She wasn't even 6. The puppies will be 6 years old next month. But it was definitely hard. The youngest dog I've ever had passed. Most of my dogs, 14, 15 years old. So it was hard. I do miss her. She was, her nickname was Murder Dog because if there was something in the yard, there was another dog, she ate it. I actually had I think I might actually end up making a sticker of it, but I had her with a little sombrero on, and I had all the groundhogs, the rabbits, and the possums that I know that she ate because I saw her do it. She was up to about 17 confirmed kills in the yard, and I don't doubt she'd eaten things I didn't know about, and I don't even want to know how much she ate before I got her. Very sweet. You wouldn't know she was murderous, but yeah. That's how she ate when she was in the junkyard. She literally came from a junkyard in Detroit, so it was her nickname was Murder Dog. I probably missed other questions. Let me go back here. Yeah, and again, I'm pretty sure that even Latom or Tom or your daughter can show you how to drink. Now, do we need to get like a sippy cup so you can't, we need to limit your, or, one of those rabbit feeders, the upside down things with a ball valve in it so you can't drink too fast? I'll get you one of those. I'll send you that. I'll put a sticker on it and send it to you. I greatly appreciate you coming by, Neverboard S10. Thank you so much. Yeah, if there's anything you want to know, feel free to let me know. Also, if anybody, my email is info6%recycled at gmail.com. It's in my bio or in my about link. If you'd like, send me an address and I will send you a sticker. It might be a foot sticker. It might be one of my new ones I'm coming out with. It'll at least be the channel logo. Oh yeah, well, most of our live streams, Pickle, do tend to go off the rails. This one started off the rails, kind of got back on the rails, and then I lost. Basically, the train just kept going and it wouldn't slow down. To quote Jethro Tull. You had a goat that ate other animals, Pickle, or you had something that ate a goat. I'm not sure on that one. Yeah, I will send, since Dan seems interested, I'm going to send him one of those rabbit feeders so he can't drink too fast, because you don't swallow the bottle. Well, there'll be something. We'll figure it all out. Yeah, I'll slap one of my stickers on there and get it off to you, bud. I do not want you joking. Sorry, guys, I am trying to read and respond. Oh, you had a goat that didn't know was. Yeah, I had got Emma, and she was in real bad shape. She was just a baby that had been living outside, like I mentioned, and I had her for right about a week, and they'd done, at least the rescued said they had done some initial work with her, and they said she was basically healthy, and she had a vet appointment because she didn't look pregnant at all. And right about a week after I got her, her belly just dropped. I mean, like literally just wham, just dropped. And I didn't know if she had a tumor, if she was bloated, or what was going on. And she had a vet appointment the next day after this kind of happened, and she just was sitting on the couch with me, much like these idiots are doing right now, and just stood up. And there were puppies coming out of her. So that was an experience. That was actually right at the time when I didn't know what was wrong with my back. So I had, I woke up every morning, not sure if I was going to be able to walk, and I had 11 dogs. I had 3 adult dogs and 8 puppies. And I had 8 puppies in a giant kids pool, one of the, the plastic ones, in my living room with a dog fence around it because they learned how to climb very quickly. So yeah, that was an interesting time. Emma and I, I'm sorry about bumping the camera. Emma and I had a very interesting bond because, pregnant dog couch. I miss that couch. I do. I just miss that couch. Goats are good. I'm a Capricorn. Okay. I didn't know only Capricorns could have goats. I'm sorry. Fiona just slammed herself on my lap. That felt good. Okay. Oh, okay. Any other goat-related topics? I haven't messed with goats since I was in FFA in high school, so I am not a goat whisperer by any means. I did dog rescue for many years before I got sick, and I really can't do it too much now. I do help a friend here and there that has a Doberman and bunny rescue, which is a kind of an odd combination, but she likes the two. And so she's got Dobermans when she's got them, and she's got rabbits most of the time. So it's definitely an interesting combination to take to a pet store. And, would you like to adopt you know, a dog, or would you like to adopt a small hairy creature? Any other questions, guys? We got about, I'll end it at 10 o'clock my time, so about 10 minutes. Might as well go for the 2, since I screwed up the first 10 to 15. Yeah, goats are interesting creatures. They do tend to escape, especially if you have an urban type of environment there, Dan. Just so you see what my life is normally like. Oops, sorry. I'm trying to drop here, guys. This is what my life is like. I'm just covered in dog. That's every day. That's what happens most of the live streams, and that's what happens 90% of the time. They're either Dobermans are either all go or no go. There's like no in between. They're either napping or 500 miles an hour back and forth. Yeah, that's Fiona again. Fiona, put your head down. Just put your head down, Pete. No, I can't believe BNR actually showed up. I do need to actually ask you about that because I missed. My friend Ryan was here welding those tubes in for me last night. So I missed 90% of your live stream, and I did watch your race, which was very funny, by the way. That was some nice acting by Tom, especially. Not you so much, but definitely Tom. That's Academy Award. Even let Tom. Like I could actually see the fear in his face through that paper. I mean, BNR's face through that paper mask. That was some good acting. But I was wondering, did you actually go to the track? And I honestly feel bad for the guy. The same thing with Uncle Brian or whatever the heck his name was. I feel bad that they invested so much time in being that upset at random crap. That's too much effort put into that. And the way people described the Uncle Brian person to me, I assumed he was some degree of popular, but I think he had less subscribers than I've got now. And to put that kind of time investment into making that stuff and be that tiny, why'd you bother? I don't understand. That one I really don't get. I figured he'd be huge. I figured he'd have like at least Dan's numbers. And I looked at the thing right before he deleted his channel from the planet. It was like 610 subscribers. I was like, wow, that's a lot of effort to go through to not get a lot of results. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So apparently, I do apologize because I'm reading a little slow here. BNR only races on the streets. Does that mean he's from the streets? He did say he was coming to No Name, so I guess you can race him there if you really want to. Or probably if he actually wants to. However it works out. He seems like a knowledgeable guy. I don't know. I don't want to make assumptions about things. If the things that went down the way they went down, it's kind of crappy. To do what he did on someone else. I don't know. The whole thing is a mess. I hope all of them have a good day, and I hope they get feeling better, and I hope they have better lives at the end of it, because it's just not worth the trouble of being that cranky. Oh, well, you might want to let John know that, because he mentioned in another. I'm sorry. For the people who are, there's probably 2 people watching that aren't on the stream or can't see it. New Guy's Garage is Dan, so if I refer to him back and forth, and Dan's brother's Tom, and his channel's New Guy's Guitar. Dan just mentioned that John Wilburn, who's in charge of the No Name Nationals, wouldn't let him participate in it. And my thought is, hey, you might want to let him know that BNR is saying he's going to come so that he's at least aware of it. Because I don't, there's so few people on, literally, I've said this a couple times now, but there are so few people involved with No Name that seem to be not having a good time or not in it for what everyone else seems to be into it for. The best way I've heard it described is it's a family reunion or a barbecue and a race breaks out. That's the way it seems to be from everybody that I've interacted with, and I've interacted with probably to some extent at least 70% of the people involved in this thing. Not to some great extent, but at least to some extent. I'm extremely looking forward to going. Well, I think it's Pickle wants to go. Picking with Pickle, that's a great name. I made it up. I'm not awesome. But Pickle, I don't know if you can actually go because I think you'd mentioned it was weird timing with you guys are moving. Pickle's in Newfoundland, Canada, and they're moving to I think you want to say Alberta. I apologize if there's so much crap going on here. If I'm missing some of this information, please correct it in the chat. But if it's not at a bad time and you can afford the plane ticket, come down there, dude. You probably won't have to feed yourself or spend anything other than getting a car or something to the track, and then you probably just sleep in the U-Haul with Dan and Tom or near it. I don't think I'd want to sleep in the the gas and I didn't even want to think about. Oh, and I have a new nickname. My name, it doesn't matter, but almost nobody calls me by my name. My first name, which a couple of my friends still call me, is Dude. I can't remember how I got that, but I think it was my friend Derek started calling me Dude. His oldest daughter didn't know what my name was until she was like 12. She thought it was Dude. It's just normal answer to Dude. And a company I worked for, Burtech, which is a lot of my friends and a lot of people you'll see on the channel, I worked with them, I'm still friends with them now, like my friend Ryan, who welded, who'll be in an upcoming video. My email address was smurphy@Burtech for my work address. And the COO of the company started calling me Smurfy because it was S. Murphy, so Smurfy. And when someone that high up in a company starts calling you a nickname, you got a nickname. So I get Dude and Smurfy, and now 6%. So now I got more nicknames. My regular name is Scott, but when someone says Scott, I almost don't respond to it because nobody calls it. Nobody calls me that. Slimo, who's our Australian friend. We actually have the group of us that were on the live streams together a lot. We have a lot of Canadian and a lot of Australian/New Zealand people that come on the chat, which is awesome. We are an international live stream and car channel series and across the board. So Slimo was saying, I saw the car in the bike race and I was an extra in, he was, there was an Australian BMX movie like Rad or Thrasher in the 80s. I want to say the 80s, I might be wrong in the time frame, called BMX Bandits. And I think it's like Nicole Kidman's first movie. I know I saw part of it, but Slimo was saying he was an extra in. Slimo was saying that Nicole Kidman was in it. He was an extra in it. So you're dating yourself there, Slimo. You don't want to sleep underneath the U-Haul, Pickle. Pickle's offering to sleep underneath the U-Haul. Maybe on top of it. I wouldn't want to sleep underneath it. Oh, and Tom's saying, yeah. Dan is saying, yeah, sleep on top of it. Yeah. You never know when a race might break out, and you don't want to be the wheel chalk for the U-Haul. If it's going down track, you don't. Oh. Yeah, I'm assuming Dan's sleeping in his Mustang, but that's just, the way he loves that car. Oh, well, I greatly appreciate everyone stopping by my train wreck of a live stream. It is 10 o'clock, and I do think it's time to end. I hope everyone that is still here goes over to the AHRA live stream where Professor P and Dallas should still be on, I believe. I would hope so. I hope I didn't miss them. I hope I didn't screw up their time frame. A lot of good stuff. both great guys, and definitely go support them. Please, anybody who was on the chat tonight, please go ahead and look up their channels and subscribe, interact with them, because that's what we're here to. We're here to have a fun community and build friendships and dogs. So I greatly appreciate everybody coming, and I will see you next week, hopefully with a corrected. Well, I will have a corrected stream, and it should be next week on Wednesday night. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it. Bye, everybody. Bye, Fiona.